let's talk about the newest rules that are going to be coming to Duelyst. Now, I need you to take a deep breath and just work with me. What we're going to be doing in Duelyst from now on is instead of drawing 2 cards a turn, which is very, very good, we're going to be changing that to drawing only 1 card a turn. Now, what does that do to the game? If you've only played Duelyst and you don't have experience playing like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or other games like that, what this is going to actually do to the game, in my opinion, is that you're going to go from a situation of all tempo, all aggro decks, where every turn you want to play 2 cards, you just have to play 2 cards because it's just the way the game works because you're drawing so many cards, to a situation where cards are going to have more value now. And I personally like that because I like to be able to make sure that when I'm putting cards in my deck, that if they're a 5-drop or a 6-drop, that I can reasonably say, okay, this is supposed to be in my deck, it's going to make a difference. If it affects the board in a meaningful way, those are the cards that I really, really want to be playing. I don't want to be stuck in a situation where every single game I have to be playing 2 cards a turn, 2 cards a turn, 2 cards a turn, because that's just, it takes it away from being able to play true control decks. Right now, Duelyst is all aggro decks and mid-range decks. There's very few control decks, and the reason is because anytime you want to try to take control of the board, you're stuck in a situation where clearing the board, all it does is just kind of slow them down. They're going to be able to, your opponent's going to draw 2 cards a turn, and they're going to be replacing cards. So all of those things are there, and it makes it very hard environment for control decks to just exist. So what we're doing now is, again, we're going from 2 down to 1, and for everybody at home, I understand that that's a huge change. I understand that part of the allure of the game was being able to make sure you can refill your hand, that you can continue to apply pressure and do those kind of things. But there's a big problem with that. The issue here is that when you draw 2 cards a turn, and you have a deck as small as it is in Duelyst, it means that you're going to be able to see almost every card in your deck at least once for the game. Now, when you do that, it makes it so that your deck plays the exact same way every single time because you know that you're going to see a certain card. And since you replace, you definitely have the chance, and sometimes you replace more than one, you're going to be able to have that opportunity to see those same cards every game. And then we want to make sure that Duelyst is around for a long time. So we want to make sure that people don't get the situation where they go, oh, this is another deck, I'm going to see this combo. That's not where we want to be. We want to make sure that cards have more value than they had previously, where you can play a 4-drop and feel really good about it, where you can play 5, 6, 7s, you can play more control decks. That opens up the ability to be able to make different decks. And it makes it so that you don't have the same degenerate things going on all the time. And also with combo decks. If in combo decks and Duelyst now, they're going to see their combo. You know that's going to happen because they just see too many cards. So what I think the developers have done is they've said, look, we want this game to be around, we want people to have fun, and we want to be able to design cards that actually maybe cost more than 4 that people will play with. Whereas right now, you're kind of stuck. You're like, hey, I have to play X amount of 2-drops, I have to do this because otherwise I'm going to get tempoed out. So this new rule, in my opinion, is going to be very, very good. We also have an update to the rules when it comes to mulliganing. Now, the old rule was we got to draw 3 cards to start our game, and then we could take any of those cards and replace them. Now, that's a great rule. I really like being able to make sure that I'm not stuck with a bunch of 5s and 6s and 7s to start my game, because in the old Duelyst, it was very important to make sure that we had plenty of 2s and 3s in our hands to make sure that we continue to play 2 cards a turn. Now, in the new rules, since we're only going to be drawing 1 card a turn, what they've done is they've made so that our hand is now 5 cards. With those 5 cards, we're going to only be able to replace 2 of them. But here's the thing, is I want you to think about this mulligan rule in combination with the new rule of drawing 1 card a turn. Since we're starting with 2 extra cards, essentially the first 2 turns of the game, we're going to be drawing an extra card. Now, that's fine. That just means that in the beginning of the game, you're going to have more opportunity to see some of your low drops. You have less opportunity in the old game of when you would have, let's say, 3 cards in your hand, they were all expensive, you mulliganed all 3, and then you would see 3 more expensive cards, and you'd just be, out of luck. So now, you're going to be able to start with 5, we mulligan 2, maybe this is the highest casting cost cards, and then we actually start the game. But remember, we have 5 cards in our hand, so again, before we started with 3, we started our turn, but now I just really like being able to start with more cards. I'm just, at heart, I love cards. I love drawing them, I love having them in my hand, and I think being able to have more cards at the beginning of the game is actually really, really advantageous, and it makes for more fun games so that we can make sure that we draw our removal spells, that we can have something going on, and we don't really get stuck too often with too many high casting cost cards in the beginning of the game. The first of our April preview cards is going to be Sapphire Seer. Sapphire Seer has an ability that's called Force Field, which is new to the game this month. Force Field is, it's kind of hard to explain because what it does is every turn you're going to prevent the first damage that minion takes. Well, here's the thing, is that if you've played Hearthstone, you're probably thinking, well, it sounds like Divine Shield. It is way, way better than Divine Shield because this actually activates every single turn to replace the Force Field. So Sapphire Seer is a 2/2 with Force Field, and that's a decent body because usually for 3, I mean, we get 3/3s, and a 3/3 cannot kill this guy by itself. It's got to do something else. So I really like having Force Field, but here's the thing. Force Field is going to be an ability that is abusable when you pump the creature. So, and that's where I really think the actual strength of Force Field is going to come in. Because again, a 2/2 that prevents the first damage, that's okay. But if we can make it a 3/3, if we can make it a 4/4, even a 5/5 or bigger, then it becomes a really, really big issue. Because how do you kill that if you don't have just a straight removal spell? A lot of decks are actually using just damage to kill creatures. They're trying to use their champion to kill the creature. That's just not going to work if you're having a Force Field every single turn, and especially if it's 4 or 5. The next April card is Sunsteel Defender. Don't know why it's called Sunsteel Defender, because it doesn't defend anything. It's a 5/1, it has celerity, it has Force Field, but it costs 5. Let me help you here. If you cost 5, you should be doing something really, really great. This card doesn't do anything really great, and here's why. It's 1 toughness. Granted, remember, we're talking about Force Field, so again, we want to be able to pump up our Force Fields, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but here's the thing. You play your 5-drop, it's a 5/1, they get their turn. They can kill this literally with any combination of 2 things because it only has 1 toughness. That is what really bugs me. So if you really want to get any good value out of it, you have to play it and have enough mana to pump it in the same turn. Otherwise, you're just looking at a huge chump that does nothing. On top of that, it has celerity. Now, celerity on a 1 toughness creature. Let's think about this. The best part of celerity is when you get to attack twice. Not move twice, attack twice. This is not going to be doing that. I mean, granted, you could, but you're going to lose it. I don't want to be losing my cards. Remember, we're only drawing 1 card a turn. Our third card for April is Sunset Paragon. Now, yours truly told you that all the April cards are going to have Force Field, but I am wrong. Well, I just don't read. So Sunset Paragon is a 3/2. It costs 5, but it is very, very good because when it comes into play, it makes all of the nearby minions deal damage to themselves equal to their power. Now, I know you're thinking, well, it's a 3/2, it costs 5, but here's the thing. This is actually just a 5 casting cost spell that removes a bunch of different creatures. That I like. Now, if we look at it that way and just say that, hey, afterwards you get a 3/2, that's a fine upside. I don't want you to think of this as a 3/2 for 5 that has an ability. I want you to think of this as a 5 casting cost spell that leaves around a 3/2 body. Because it does affect your people, it affects theirs, and this is what control decks want to do. They want to make sure that they can 2 for 1, 3 for 1, 4 for 1, all of those kinds of things when you're playing big creatures. Because again, you have a 7/7, you have a 10/10, whatever it is, this is going to kill it, and it's going to kill multiple of them. So this can get you back in a game when you're trying to play a more control deck in the new Duelyst. With that, remember, we're talking about 1 card a turn. This is something that can catch you up very fast. It's a neutral card, so all decks can play it, and it just means that you're going to have the ability, and you have to remember, if you're playing an aggro deck, you really have to watch how you place your minions, because if you go, a couple 2-drops on turn 4, and then on their turn 4, they ramp up and get into this, you could be in a little bit of trouble, and they still have a 3/2 around that you have to deal with. The last of our April cards is Xune, or Xune, or however you want to pronounce EXUN. It costs 7, it's a 5/5, but this card just makes me so happy because not only does it have Force Field, but whenever it attacks or it's being attacked, it draws a card. That is exactly what control decks want, and I am a control player. So if you play this on turn 7, if they don't have a removal spell that just kills a creature, they have to kill it with damage. Now, if they kill it with damage, the first damage is going to bring down the Force Field, you draw a card. The next time that they try to kill it, if they don't kill it with just something that has equal or better power, you're going to be able to only draw 1 card, but if it's smaller, then they're going to have to throw 2 more things at it, so you basically get to get 3 cards, kill probably 2 or more of their minions. That is exactly where you want to be, because now we're going to be able to put this in all of our control decks as a finisher. If they don't kill it in 1 turn, or if we somehow pump it, this is going to just be an astronomical monster because it's going to refill your hand. It's going to get you back in the game. These are the kind of things that we want to be doing when we pay 7 mana. Again, it's not the best 7 we've ever seen. And again, they're going to be changing 30 of the cards or more. So we could be seeing some really different power shifts. But with this particular card, I like it. I think control decks will probably want to run 1 or 2 because it does cost 7. You don't want to have 2 in your hand ever, but being able to make sure on turn 7 that you do drop this, be able to refill your hand a little bit, well, pray that they don't have something to get rid of it right away, but this is very, very good. With all that being said, it is going to be a crazy April. We're going to have brand new rules for Duelyst, which is going to take us from, like we said before, 2 cards to 1 card, and it hurts my heart because, again, I love drawing cards. But this is going to make the game more tournament friendly. It's going to be, I think, it more competitive. It makes it so that every game doesn't see the same cards. I really like this change. It's just going to mean that we have to change the way we think. That's okay, because I think everybody out there who's been playing Duelyst, like me, we've been maybe playing it for months or since the very beginning, it's just going to take a little bit of adjustment. But don't fret. We're going to be able to get through this because we all want to hit S rank and we all want to win the tournaments, so we've got to figure out a way to make it work. We've got new cards. We've got Force Field. Again, I really think that Force Field is going to be a player. It's just going to have to be in the right decks. I'm just excited to be able to play control decks now. I don't know what it looks like yet. I don't know where we're going to go with it, but you can promise that Rob AJG will be playing some sort of control. We will be drawing cards. My top end will have Force Field, and hopefully I'll be making you sad when I beat you in S rank. But until then, subscribe to the channel. It's Rob AJG, or you can find me on Facebook or Twitter under Rob AJG as well. We'll see you with the next Duelyst update. Until then, good luck hitting S rank.